I am so sick of the soft life girlies who make it look like the only way to radiate feminine energy and to have a soft life is by doing nothing, depending on a man to meet your every need, and then making it look like the opposite of that is just hustling and grinding all day long. No to both of those. I have been able to successfully tap into the benefits of living a soft life while still thriving in my work and going after my dreams. And today I'm going to show you how you can do it too. Welcome back, my friends, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Christy and I make content centered around realizing no matter where we are in life, no matter our age, we are just on time to live the life of We are just on time to live the life of our dreams. And my dream has always been to live a softer, slower life that allows me to be able to do the things that I want to do while I still have things that I need to do. And I've been able to do that even while working a full-time job, having a full career, and a life full of other things than just, sitting. Living a soft life is actually about rejecting the ideals of hustle culture that tells us that the only way to be successful is to just go, go, go. Keep fighting, keep grinding, keep clawing your way to the next thing. But people have many times translated that into meaning just like sitting around all day long, baking brownies, trying out different beauty products while waiting on a man to foot the bill for your life. Of course, I am not talking about the stay-at-home moms who do work all day long with their kids. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about this trend where it's I don't do anything all day long, but be pretty. And that's not what living a soft life is. Truly living a soft life means that you can go after your dreams. You can do the things that you need to do, but without it being a constant source of added stress. I embraced that mindset even long before I knew that there was a name for it, because especially as a woman, I just don't feel like we were designed to hustle and grind until we die. My whole approach to life has often been, how can I get things done? How can I do the things that I know that I need to do, but still make sure that I am taking care of me? And it is something that I've been able to do with a full-time job. So how do we do it? My first tip before anything else is that living a softer life requires having a mindset shift. If you are used to this hustle mentality, you have to reframe your mind to realize that life doesn't actually have to be like that. Life doesn't have to be stressful. And you're probably thinking, but Christy, I have things I need to do. And to that, I would say you are absolutely right. You have things that you need to do. And yes, there are sometimes things that cause us stress, but the overall day to day of life doesn't have to be stressful. We have talked about this before on my channel, but the mind is such a powerful thing. And whatever it is that we believe and the thing that we focus on becomes our reality. If our mind is constantly, oh, I have so much to do, I don't have time for myself, I can never get anything else that I want to get done, then that becomes our reality. But if we change our focus to, I have the tools to do the things that I need to do and take care of myself, that slight shift in mentality actually changes our perspective on things, and that becomes our reality. I am someone who can easily get stuck in that first mindset of, oh, I have so much to do and it feels frantic all the time. And I have to constantly check myself to say, no, I actually have time to do the things that I need to do. I just need to look to see when they're going to happen. And when I get in that, I have to stop and I have to depend on some tools that I have built up to get out of that. I will stop and pray. I will talk to my husband. I will just stop whatever it is that I am doing and move to another thing for a short amount of time. I have worked to be able to identify that as quickly as I can, and then not stay in this mindset of rush and hustle and stress. When we change our mindset, it brings a sense of order and peace where previously there was just chaos. And this isn't to say that there aren't busy seasons where things are a little bit more stressful than normal. Maybe you are taking care of a sick loved one, or you're in a really busy season of work and there's just a lot of things that are going on. I'm not talking about those things. We're talking about just the average kind of everyday. Your basic everyday should not have this ongoing stress that just has no end. My next point is actually related to that. So To live a soft life, you have got to set boundaries. When we find that we have a lot of stressors in life, we have to diligently root those out, figure out what those stressors are, and set boundaries around them to be able to handle them. So I'll give a quick example from my own life. I used to work at this place where I felt so stressed out all the time because it just felt like there was never a lull in the work. Typically in work, it just goes through cycles where you have some really high points where it's really, really busy, but then it calms back down and then it gets really high again. I felt like I was constantly on this high. And so I set boundaries around my time. Hey, I do not do work on weekends. I do not do work after hours. Don't call me after that because that's just not going to happen. And so I set boundaries so that I could just have some mental peace for myself. But those boundaries were constantly being crossed. And for me, the decision was like, I can't live like this. And so I found another job. Now that sounds like an extreme example, but by setting boundaries, you see where you have the power to actually take back your life. And that is where that mindset shift comes back in, because I had to realize I'm not stuck here. Like, there are other things that I can do. So many times we're afraid to set boundaries with work or with family and friends. But the thing is, people can only go as far as we allow them to. And yes, it may mean that some people or some situations or some things have to get cut. But if it is disturbing our peace, it costs too much, and it's not allowing us to be able to live that soft life that we are seeking. If it's work that is a constant source of stress for you, you might have to make some very real decisions about whether or not you need to find another job and actually start working on your resume, start working on your skills to move into something else. Or do you want to start your own side hustle or business to have something that you are working to grow? Or maybe if it's things that are outside of work, maybe to do with kids or with family or friends, figure out what about that situation is causing you extra anxiety and stress that's not allowing you to be able to live a soft life, and make a plan to be able to set boundaries around that thing. At that other job that I was talking about, my boundaries were constantly being overstepped. And so for me, I had to quit. I didn't quit without a plan in place for how I was going to be able to take care of the things that I needed to do. We don't do dumb things. We do smart things still. When you get home, if you feel like there's no quiet time for you from the time you get home to the time that you go to bed, unless that is something that you particularly enjoy, it's probably not healthy for you. So figure out where you can set some boundaries around that time. It's going to take some time. It's going to take some trial and error. But once you get past that, your life is going to run a lot more smoothly. Oh my goodness. Excuse the lighting. The sun is just sunning. All right, are we dimming? Are we dimming? There you go. A soft life also means being willing to let others help. The TikTok version shows being beautiful and fancy free and talking in soft voices, while the man takes care of everything. But I feel like the undertone of that we should be taking away is that we need to allow other people to help us. There is no such thing as a self-made person. Anybody who has made it has had some help along the way, even if they don't acknowledge it. There is no glory in doing things all alone. We end up just making things harder for ourselves, and we don't have time for anything else except for completing tasks. And I say that because I am someone who has been really bad about doing things by myself, and then on the back end realizing there were people who could help, but I just, for whatever reason, did not want to ask them. My husband is particularly great with that question of, hey, I'm here. Why don't you just let me help? And I have to realize, you know what? You're right. I don't have to do this by myself. Others are willing to help, but we have to let go of our ego and we have to let them do that. So what can this look like? From one extreme example, if you have the resources to be able to do it, then maybe it is having a nanny, or maybe having a housekeeper, or someone, or some type of meal delivery service. If you can't, think of ways that you can depend on your friends and family, or even on your coworkers for things. Of course, that means that you have to be willing to help in return, but it becomes easier for everybody when we are willing to share that load. We often feel like we have to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps and we have to do everything by ourselves, to the point where we don't even know how to ask other people for help. For whatever reason, in some way, we equate asking for help with a sense of failure. And that is just not the case. I really love watching and observing other cultures where community is so deeply embedded within them. Like, they are the ones who have it figured out. They don't try to do things all by themselves. As communities, they live longer, they are not as stressed out, and they are collectively living this softer life. Other thing is that a soft life requires pouring into yourself. You have to be intentional about pouring into yourself and prioritizing your needs. And at first, it may feel kind of weird because you're not used to doing it. But if you want to live a long life that you enjoy, you have to pour into yourself in every area of your life: spirit, body, mind, all of it. So make sure that you are exercising regularly and doing exercises that you enjoy. I really love to do like long walks. My husband and I recently gotten into racquetball. And so we have to do that on the day before I get my hair done, because we can't be doing that like on a Monday when I have to see people. Find times when you can eat uninterrupted instead of having to hustle through your lunch or breakfast or dinner. Like, be able to sit, have a conversation, listen to music, enjoy that stillness. Give yourself time to actually be able to move more slowly through life, whether that is getting up earlier or staying up later, because constantly needing to rush is at odds with living softly. If you have a lot of things that you need to do, plan out all the things that you need to get done. Being able to see the things that we need to do and have a plan for it helps us not to have to move in chaos. Also, don't procrastinate. Procrastination builds anxiety. Just get done the things that need to get done. And you can do this a couple of different ways. If you have a lot of things on your list, maybe start with the smaller things to build traction, or you may want to start with the big thing so that you feel a lot more accomplished. I sometimes like to just start with the big thing because I feel like, oh, if I've tackled the big thing, then I can tackle everything else. Set a timer for getting things done. Maybe with cleaning projects, I love for cleaning, decluttering, to actually set a timer, because if I don't, then it is something that I will just get so laser focused in, and it can take all day long. We don't have time for that. So I like to set like a 15 or 30-minute timer and get as much accomplished as I can in that amount of time. You also will need a routine. I love a routine because it helps to automate all of the things that we say we want to do, but can't really find the time for. So if I'm having a really busy day, that is when my routine feels extra helpful, because I can find, oh, I've already put my workout in here, so that's where I'm going to get it done. I already have my time with God in here, so this is where it is going to happen. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to plan for it. It is just there, and it is part of my day. If you have kids, put them on a routine as well. Having been a teacher for a really long time, kiddos thrive in structure and routine because they know what to expect. And then they also can be a lot more independent when they know that there is time built in for them to be able to do that. Find ways to get out in nature. We live in such a busy and chaotic world, full of technology, full of things that are taking our attention away and things that are distractors. But getting out in nature can just feel so grounding, and research has shown that it's really helpful for us as well. Embracing a soft life, even if you work a 9-to-5 and you have dreams, you have kids, you have this or that, is possible. By changing our mindset and setting boundaries, allowing others to help, and being intentional about pouring into ourselves, we can live a life that is full and that's enjoyable and that's not characterized by hustling and being stressed out all of the time. And there have been times where I haven't gotten it right and where things have been completely out of balance, and that happens because that's life. But I lead with the mindset to enjoy and prioritize and embrace living a softer life. So go out there and start living your soft life. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments, what are you going to start doing today to live a softer life? Also, if you're not subscribed, what are you doing? I'm gonna need you to jump on that. Alrighty guys, I love you, and I will see you in my next. Bye for now.